Have you ever started to love a certain character in an anime, only to see them die away? No? Okay. Today, I'm bringing some romance animes with happy endings, because we all need a break from those sad, heartbreaking moments. Here we go!
俺とやりたいのか?
いや、別にそういうわけじゃないけど。
There are thousands of romance animes coming in every season, so what's the best way to grab the audience? Adapt something controversial. Cheers to my good friend Rito of Healer, who left a destructive sandstorm in its wake. But while Rito of Healer is a new level of bad, HigeHiro is one of the best animes I've ever watched. If you stop being a crybaby and ignore the controversial topic for a bit, you're awarded with a realistic romance story that ups the tension with each short arc and introduces characters you immediately fall in love with. Also, Seiyu is best girl. If you deny it, you can jump into a fire.
3回回ってお手からのワンだな。
さっきと顔違う？
Sometimes, just watching a romance show could be boring, so that's why we need to change the personalities of each of the two characters so the couple can have more tension. And along comes the high school bully and bad boy who likes to tease the girl. Wolf Girl and Black Prince adapt this logic to their romance, so we can watch how one masochist slowly falls in love with his wolf girl. I don't like the supporting cast very much, but the main couple is definitely the best.
なんでしょう、セット？これおかしい。椅子？君難民なの？
必要だったら必要なのだ。
Not many anime can do the mystery aspect very well. There are a very few shows that can combine both romance plus mystery to build up the story, and Gosick is one of those shows that does it right. We've got one doll-like girl trapped in a library full of books, and one boy with a lot of family problems. For the first episode itself, the show establishes that the girl is a genius and the boy is a generic sidekick. The story also starts off really dark, and that single episode inside the ship managed to scare the living hell out of me. And in the end, that's what makes Gosick special. Along with the romance, you can experience a ton of other things as well.
いるわけないよな。
誰を探しておるのかや？
ほら！
そこまで驚かんでもよかろう。
Okay, fun fact is that the main couple here is actually voiced by the same people who voiced Lelouch and Callan in Code Geass. So, if you used to fantasize about their romance back in the day, then this is the time to feel a little wholesome. But that's the only thing that's similar between the two shows. Spice and Wolf is all about a fantasy slice of life adventure that shows the adventures of a traveling merchant and a wolf girl. Come on, we all love wolf girls, right? The merchant here is also very cunning, which is kind of like a good thing, because in this world, what matters is the brain, not your fists. If you are one of those fantasy romance fans, then this is a must-watch.
何？
お前が
私が何？
I know the full title says How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, but the girlfriend here is anything but boring. Saekano is one of the best adapted romances I've seen on TV. Ironically, most of the romance happens in the final movie rather than the TV, which is one reason that will really turn off many viewers. The show starts as a regular harem show where all the girls around him want this single guy, but the second season makes the anime more serious, and the final movie is what turns it into the best romance ever told. Characters are more fleshed out, the events around them show the struggles of the creator, and the main character isn't a wimp. Now this is how you write a good romance anime.
何してんだ？脱ぐなよ！
キャミ来てるけど。
噂通りとんでもないぞこの女。
ああ、体勢ないんだ。童貞？
First off, no, this is not done through CGI. I know the name of the show is misleading, and I went to watch the show with expectations of watching another generic romance anime, but this turned way better than I expected. The characters feel realistic, and what's even better is how they change according to the events that are happening around them. It is also one of those animes where the couple starts dating early, so most of the time is about the relationship issues, not about your average generic romance protagonist trying to confess to the girl he likes for the 1000th time.
さっき婚姻届を出したってことは、僕はあの子と結婚したってことだよな。
Remember 2020? Everyone was depressed and wanted to hang themselves. But then through the dusty clouds of chaos came a wholesome ray of light, and that was Tonikaku Kawaii. What is Tonikaku Kawaii about? It's about one girl and a boy living together after getting married. I know the story sounds very simple compared to many other romance animes, but that's the charm of this show. In the end, this show is there to make you feel wholesome, to pull you out from the pit of depression you've fallen into, and then pull out your heart heart and cuddle it. Okay, that's going a bit too far, but you get the point. Okay, one problem with this show is the two take a long time to confess. At the season ending, I thought they would finally do it and move on, but guess what? They're still at square one. Then I realized this was based on a light novel, and I was like, oh, then it's going to take another several light years for these two to confess. So why should we watch this show? For the wholesomeness. Yep, just like Tonikaku Kawaii, this show knows how to give off some really wholesome vibes that will make you feel warm and fuzzy. I mean, Adachi is always very cute.
それはそうかもね。女心に鈍い定一くんが悪いのよ。
悪くないですよ。
Romance and horror, two completely opposite genres to each other. So how can one anime combine it? By adding a best girl, of course. The only way to mix two complete opposites to each other is to make sure to give something the audience will fall in love with. And that is Yuko. Sometimes she's mysterious, sometimes she teases others, and all of the time she keeps holding the title of best girl. Apart from that, Dusk Maiden of Amnesia is a great supernatural show. I mean, we start with ghosts from the first episode itself, so you already know where the show is heading.
どうぞお好きにお連れください。
待て、下がれ。え？
Once again, we have the badass protecting the sweet girl, one pure maid about to be tainted by the annoying, wimpy prince. Who will save her? Along comes the overpowered warrior who decides enough is enough and punches the evil guy in the face. But all jokes aside, Snow White with the red hair is one of the best fantasy romance shows I watched. It doesn't do anything innovative, but it just knows how to play with those usual tropes and give us what we need the most: romance. The world building is also done in a very subtle fashion, so any fantasy fan can pick it up and instantly feel addicted to it. Okay, I know we've seen thousands of Romeo and Juliet anime version, but this time it happens in high school. Come on, we all love high school, right? This means you get slapped in the face, get needless fan service, and also get a bit of a love triangle if you're lucky. The couple initially starts out as enemies who want to kill each other, and then turn into lovers. The main male character is also a bit of a badass. Oh, and the female character is badass too. So it's like hot water plus hot water, but luckily they are both placed in a freezer so they can become ice.
どこに行くんだ？送るから。
They're a romance anime you can tell is going to be wholesome from the very first look, and Tada Never Falls in Love is one of them. It starts off very simple, with one photographer and a lost girl, but the anime soon starts kicking the tension. It's the character you'll fall in love with, and there's going to be a time when you feel like you want to give each of them a hug. If you want both a comedic one as well as an anime that gets a little serious in the end, then Tada Never Falls in Love is the show for you.
甘いんじゃ。
じゃあご飯抜きにするわよ。鎖も外してあげない。
Okay, I know the show almost jumps into the harem route, but in the end, only the main couple remains, so I had to add this to my list. Familiar of Zero starts as a fun show. You got beating, sadism, masochism, and basically everything you need in a funny fantasy anime. But then you reach the finale of each season and the show ups the stakes like crazy. It's these seasonal endings that keep making you binge watch until the finale, or even make you emotional. I mean, we all know how season 2 ended, and that nearly had me in tears for a moment. It might take some time for you to get adapted to the show's style, then you'll start loving it. This is another shoujo anime, so the romance might not be for everyone, but it is definitely one of the best I've watched. This follows Kodako Aihara, who is forced to share a roof with the school's and possibly Japan's smartest student, Naiko Airi. Eat a Kiss will grip your heart with its comedy and romance, and even though it is for a female audience, the romance can be enjoyed by anyone. It does follow some usual tropes, but in the end, what matters more than the couple getting a good ending?
大佐か。
I'll say it over and over again because Toradora is the best romance show I've ever watched. I know you'll not immediately fall in love with the short tsundere or our grim main character, but once you watch a couple of episodes and the tension starts to hit you, you'll break down from crying. Seriously, the show starts off pretty lighthearted and funny before turning the tension up, and the final arc of the series is something that will break your heart in a good way because this has a good ending. You'll want to smile, cry, scream, and feel like you need to punch someone. You'll start to love Taiga and feel like Amy is the most underrated waifu of all time. And in the end, this show gives you everything. And that is why Toradora is the best romance anime ever made.